Okay, back for part 2 of OptiPulse. So, Mathis, please share, what do you see the future of OptiPulse looking like for you guys specifically?
Well, we see it as something in which the world is connected with our technology, enabling and complementing others. So the future of OptiPulse has a couple of pieces to it. One's the financial future, right? The employment future.
Yep.
And then the benefit that brings. Let me go back to the WeFunder campaign, the crowdfunding campaign that we did.
Yeah.
It's on pause right now. We want to get a couple things organized for the next launch, round 2. When we got the investment coming in, and people aren't familiar with it, the crowdfunding round allows non-accredited investors, so it's grassroots. Everyone on the street can get involved.
Yep.
And we set our minimum at $100. So you can do $100, you can do $10,000, you could do however much you want to do within the limits in terms of your wealth and the way the SEC calculates all that stuff. So WeFunder runs all that for us. What we had to do was just put out the message about what we're trying to do. And that for the future, it was very encouraging because most of those investors in their comments were saying that they wanted to help get this into their community.
Okay.
Right? So that's an important distinction because it wasn't, we like the return potential. That's not the only thing they said. In fact, sometimes they didn't even say that. They said, we see this as a technology that will advance the world, benefit to mankind. And in our community, we need this. We're disconnected. We are underserved. All of those components that go with this. So the future of OptiPulse is to get this technology into those communities. And we're going to do it in every which way we can. It could be with partners. It could be with us making the technology into products ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It could be licensing it out such that others do it for us. But one of the things we're going to be very careful about is in all of that individual who's put that $100 in, that wants it for the community, gets it. And they get it at a reasonable price. In fact, at a much cheaper price with upload and downloads of 500 megabits, a gigabit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they can get it now. So we're very excited about that component to it. The technology itself is a platform technology. So these amazing little chips that John created, and you follow through his mind as he thinks through these ideas, we're looking at data center efficiency. So the ability to take out a number of the optical switches that are in data centers. That takes away power consumption, takes out heat, reduces the environmental needs. So that's one simple instance of where we believe we can make this a difference. And you roll that through into medical devices, infrared is a health benefit wavelength.
Right.
We haven't even touched on that. We haven't touched on, one thing that these devices do is they pulse at a different duty cycle, their LiDAR, light ranging and detecting, right?
Yep.
So that LiDAR is what's going into autonomous automobiles, right?
So you're saying this will be
vehicles.
helpful for Teslas?
Yes. Well, and not just Teslas. It'd be helpful for everybody because you could have these sensors sitting up on poles, and they're sensing and communicating.
Just like lining highways or something like that?
Yeah, lighting highways, corners, so a car can't see around something. There's a vehicle in front, the car isn't seeing it because whatever system that car has been blanked out, whited out. And so all of a sudden there's a warning because another sensor is saying to that oncoming vehicle, there's something in front of you, there's something in front of you. So, and the technology is there for that to happen. It's engineering it into those products. It's then testing them, is going through the reliability, the quality assurance, all the things that are necessary. So we're still a couple years away from these things, but that's all possible.
What about IoT devices, like, for instance, gas lines, pipelines? I'm thinking like you could, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you could shoot a...
What do you think about that?
Oh, yeah. We would love to have the resources in our firm, being the people, that can take on projects like that. Southeastern New Mexico, we have an investor or two down there, oil field services, very interested in trying to put our technology at the wellhead and then tracking pipelines as well, being able to accumulate that data as it comes down to some central hub. And reducing the need to go out to the wellheads as often because you can collect that data. And lightweight, small size, low cost, low power consumption, ideal for drones. So you put this up on a drone, the drone flows around collecting data.
So essentially, I just have this thing on the ground pointed up, and as the drone flies over, captures the data, and I just keep flying.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And you spread the beam out from what's on the ground, or you could even transmit from the drone back down to ground. So you got these two beams that are overlapping, and the drone hits that connect point, flies through it, and then passes on 10 gigabits a second, even 25 gigabits a second if you get the electronics there. You're moving massive amounts of data. Now, do you need that at every wellhead? Maybe not.
But what about the ones that produce the most?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And they collect that data instantaneously. So, gas leaks on these pipelines, they fly drones over and look for the plumes.
So it could have been leaking for a bit.
If it's leaking through the top, you can't see it unless you put a sensor through that.
Mm-hmm.
So we could put sensors all along the pipeline. Very inexpensive sensor, just a chain of them talking to each other up and down the whole pipeline, sensing and communicating.
So this technology is really applicable for military, business, government, and individual human beings in their like collective areas, whatever they might be, where they lack certain
looking at the map,
resources. I'm always looking at the map. It helps me think.
Like rural areas, I think that would be.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm punching through granite. How hard would that be?
Well, I've seen you try it.
Yeah. But I mean, like you said, it could be anywhere from 30 to 80,000, and I imagine certain areas, like cities are extremely rural areas. This would be a product I think that would be.
And that's where we're working within the state right now. Senator Padilla and other senators and representatives have been at the forefront of broadband. And broadband has become such a big need and identified now. It's always been a need, but because of the pandemic and people flooding networks and driving to a Starbucks or a McDonald's to get connectivity, it's right in the face of everyone right now. And we've got money coming into the state and across the country. And it's not just New Mexico. I mean, it's rural Mississippi. It's Arkansas. It's
been there. They need it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so, at the price points that we're at, and we don't think that OptiPulse is the only solution, but it adds and complements all the other technologies that are being put to work there. And places where you've got 4G already installed, you increase the backhaul, you increase that pipeline, and those 4G devices pump a lot more data through.
Sure.
So you can upgrade a community almost immediately with something like that.
That's amazing.
So the real connectivity.
A fail-safe system too, I would think.
I would use it most definitely as a fail-safe too. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Well, and you think about it in the sense of looking at the Big Seven.
That's what I'm talking about. You said it. I didn't. He said Big Seven.
The Big Seven. Well, and you think through those economic development.
Yeah.
Think what that means. That's, what is economic development? Well, it's bringing jobs, right? And it's educating those that are going to perform the jobs, and it's advancing their careers, and it's keeping them healthy. So it's telemedicine involved in something like that. It's keeping educated. So you got to be able to train them more.
Right.
So you just add economic development into this, and you expand the ability to reach people. You start to equalize. Closing the digital divide is also beginning to equalize these gaps that we have in the ability for people to access careers in health and wellness.
So equalization in the sense of opportunity, not socialism.
Opportunity, exactly.
Yeah, because people think equalization. It's like, we have economic equalization. It's not about just everybody gets paid the same, everything's just flat out.
Right.
No, we just want to make sure that there's equal opportunity for everybody.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
That's exactly right. And we believe that with equal opportunity in terms of equal access, that you're going to bring a lot more people into the dialogue.
Sure.
And so you're not going to have it as polarized. It's a good part of utilizing the connectivity we have right now is the education about what it means to have the responsibility to be putting things on the internet.
Correct.
Right? And the education to be able to sift through stuff and understand what's real and not real. So we won't go down that path.
Right. You don't want to? We do that all the time on here.
Educational access,
Yep.
climate stability. You think about the Cambridge University in England did a study. In fact, they have a website now which tracks the assumed amount of data passed through because of blockchain, Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? And then they equate that to how much energy is being used by these miners, right, to solve the proof of work.
Bitcoin electricity consumption index.
Exactly. And they do proof of work. And there's other things like proof of stake,
Mm-hmm.
proof of delegated stake. But proof of work is, the big gorilla in the room in terms of power consumption.
Yeah, because you got this thing called terawatt hours to come in. So first of all, you got to doing the proof of work's one thing. I got to compute it on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
But then to send it out for everybody else to come around and say, yeah, that in fact did happen.
Exactly.
It's a mess.
So you've got all that computing power, creating heat, right? Using electricity not only to run those server farms, but also to keep them cooled. And you've got these heat dams, where you've got to move air through everything.
Right.
So you start pulling out all the wiring and using light, beams across the ceiling. This is very high power light. So beams across the ceiling. It's probably not going to be eye safe. It's going to be invisible.
Right.
But it's going to be the ability to carry hundreds of gigabits of data, right, and drop those down into
wait a minute.
racks.
Are you telling me that all the Bitcoin miners, Ethereum, all those guys out there should be using OptiPulse?
Well, what we're saying is the data farms, the server farms,
Yeah.
where those machines are cranking, should be coming to us and saying, hey, how can we reduce our costs? How can we reduce our footprint?
Well, if they should be, well, then we got to get that word out there, right?
I mean, how many data centers are there in the world? I mean,
More than you could ever even imagine.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And so one of the things that we've been doing, and John is investigating this, as am I, right here in our own state, with some of these data centers that we've got that are focused, part of the New Mexico Tech Council.
Yeah.
And there's places all over the world like this, where you've got technology-minded people that are also green, trying to figure out how to reduce that power consumption and make it more affordable.
Yeah.
Well, we're one of the answers as far as the data centers are concerned to make that happen.
That's incredible.
It's that the future of the OptiPulse is to make things like this happen.
No, I love that. So in terms of making things happen, then, how do individuals find you? Are you guys online? Do you have a website? Tell me a little bit how someone would access the resources to learn more about you and your product and service.
Sure. Well, we have a website, optipulse.com.
Okay. How do you spell OptiPulse?
OptiPulse.
We'll throw it in the show notes. Yeah.
Pulse.
Yeah.
OptiPulse. We sometimes get called OptiPoint, Opti this, but
you should buy all those. You should buy all those domain names.
Yeah.
Anytime someone screws it up, I'm trying to buy Turtle as much as I can.
Green Turtle.
Yeah.
And so you can find us there, and also look for us on WeFunder. We still have a site there. You have to search for OptiPulse to get to us.
Okay.
We're going to launch that off again here in probably 3 weeks or
Congrats.
4 weeks. Oh yeah, it's great. It is great. It's the ability to reach out to all those people across the world. We've got investors across the world, so this is an opportunity to put a little bit of money in to help advance this. We've been thinking about the blockchain as a tool for us in our own operational management, but also as a tool in terms of using digital currencies in order to reach another share of the capital market, to put the funding in place in communities where they say, in Indonesia, a community says, let's go after this.
Yeah.
And, they're looking around, they're trying to figure out how to do it. Well, if we create access through fiat and through digital currency, it just opens up more opportunity for that community to put a stake in the ground to say, bring it here. We want to help you bring it here. Here's how we're going to do it.
We're doing that right now, so we totally understand.
See, this is it. This is a wonderful event because Now I get to talk about Tartle.
Yeah.
He's been waiting for me, folks, to bring it up.
Yeah, please say something about it. Say something about it.
Phenomenal opportunity for people to take control and to manage it in a way that benefits both sides of the equation.
Thank you.
And we believe that as a part of that connectivity infrastructure that gives even more people access at an affordable, cheaper price than now. But by providing that connectivity, we're providing more control of their own future.
Yeah.
Right? Because they control the data. And if someone else isn't playing them off against, whatever marketing vision they have, they're saying, I want to be a part of this, and here's my data. If you want to take it, take it.
Correct.
I think Tartle is an incredible product. And what I see is one helping the other.
Symbiotic. We have, thank you for saying all those kind words. We have Suzanne Simard. Is that what her name is?
Mm-hmm.
She's coming on soon to talk about, how forests interact, how they speak to one another. The whole thing's symbiotic.
It is.
And they've been around a hell of a lot longer than us humans have.
Oh, yeah.
So I think
their networking is
the
trees can talk to each other. They've already
the mycorrhiza and the rest of the fungi that sits underneath under the humus. Oh, I'm on top of this, right? But that's
so
what
I need to grab humus.com as well.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
Because that's the infrastructure.
Yeah, humus is it.
Yeah.
OptiPulse will be rebranded to humus. That's going to be the global infrastructure.
The global.
All we need to do is just pulse slide into that, and then from there
we
can
pulse
talk
slide into
we're
fungi.
talking to trees.
We're talking to everything. You know what I mean?
Well, Cameron got there before us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, James Cameron. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he tends to be on top of it. Well, listen, I think you are helping design a future that takes sci-fi and makes it reality. So I'm really happy with what OptiPulse is doing. I hope something symbiotic between both of our companies can happen in the future.
Well, the more demand there is for data, the more our technology is relevant, and the more our technology can move data, the faster, simpler, and more advanced people can be with their own data. So it's extremely well connected. Yeah.
I don't disagree with that one bit.
And it kind of helps that we both look at the globe and think of it that way, and we both look at the Big Seven.
Oh, yeah. Shivers down my spine when I hear that. Well, listen,
right,
Mathis, this has been fantastic. Thank you again for coming on. Jason, do you have any final questions? Anything?
No, I'm just super excited. I love hearing. That's why I wanted to before. I didn't want to hear it till the podcast because I had heard the technology.
Right.
But this can revolutionize the world.
That's what we want. We want a bunch of revolutions happening at the same time.
The photonic revolution. I like that.
Well, we got to get a T-shirt. Yeah. The photonic revolution.
You got to get the T-shirts out there.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's great.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, Matt.
All right.
I really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thanks, guys.